Just a quick heads up. While we dive into some psychological angles in this podcast, we're not mental health professionals. Everything you hear is based on our own research and interpretation, and is meant for storytelling and discussion, not expert advice. So take it with a grain of salt and always consult a professional if you're dealing with something serious. Salford Quays, Manchester. A mirror of dark water rippling beneath the rows of new-built apartments. At 5 a.m., the city hasn't stirred, but one light in Block C Flat 17 is already on. A woman in running tights ties her sneakers, stretches, and snaps a selfie. Her name is Rebecca Joynes, 30 years old, gymnast turned teacher, a rising star in the prestigious Teach First program. By 7 a.m., she'll be greeting 30 Year 10 students at Manchester High, whiteboard marker in hand, confidence pouring off her like perfume. She's the teacher every parent prays for. Tonight, you'll learn why every parent's prayers turned into sleepless, gnawing nightmares. This is Crime Alley Documentaries. Walk the corridors of Manchester High in 2021 and you'll hear it. The click of laminated passes. The slam of lockers. Teachers hustle between rooms. Students huddled in cliques. In room 108, Rebecca Joynes commands the board. Quadratic equations, trajectory arcs, an invisible nod to her gymnast past. Adam, a 15-year-old student, said, "We called her RJ. She'd cut class 5 minutes early just to ask us about our weekend. She made you feel older." Adam was new to the city, awkward and gangly. He wasn't seen until Rebecca saw him. On Friday, April 16, 2021, Adam's phone lit up. Snapchat. A single blue square and 10 digits. 07 904 667 8 question mark. Guess the last number and you earn a prize. Blue heart emoji, winky face. 10 digits from a teacher. The puzzle felt thrilling. A secret math problem from a mentor. Adam cracked the 11th number in 3 tries. The prize wasn't a great boost. It was Rebecca's private WhatsApp. Messages slipped from homework tips to memes to midnight confessions. She asked about his parents' divorce, his crush, the time he felt most invisible. Adam said, quote, "She said you're different. You get me. I'd never heard that from anyone, let alone an adult." End quote. One evening she wrote, "Meet me outside Media City, 6 p.m. Just casual." It was raining. Rebecca arrived in a red Audi. They drove to the Trafford Centre, the biggest mall in the north. Inside Selfridges, she bought him a €345 Gucci belt, monogrammed Gigi buckle. The cashier offered gift wrap. She declined. Adam said, "I asked why she would spend that much." She laughed. "Because you're worth it, silly." Back at her Salford flat, smell of vanilla candles, soft indie playlist, she poured 2 glasses of rosé. Adam's heart hammered. He told her he was scared. She brushed his hair from his eyes and whispered, "Oh, shut up. No one's gonna find out." Monday morning, Adam strutted the hallway, Gucci belt flashing. Friends teased, "Got a sugar mommy?" He laughed, but rumors bloom fast in teenage soil. Grace, a fellow year 10, noticed Rebecca watching Adam longer than the rest, a glance that lingered 1 heartbeat too long. Grace, 16-year-old, said she'd lean over his desk. Her necklace would swing right in his face. We all felt it. Grace told a guidance counselor. The safeguarding lead, Mrs. Talbot, logged an incident. Possible boundary breach. Monitor. No one, not yet, called the police. 2 weeks later, Adam's mother found late-night messages. Dozens. Pet names. Angel, Baby Genius. She scrolled, horrified, through selfies he had never meant her to see. She called 101. Within hours, Greater Manchester Police seized Adam's phone. They found GPS pings at Salford Keys, flat 17. Purchase receipt, Selfridges, Gucci, April 19th. Chat logs detailing 2 sexual encounters. Detective Sarah Miles was first on the case. Detective Miles, mid-30s, said, "Position of trust cases hit different. It's grooming by authority. Age gaps illegal. Teacher's role makes it predatory." Miles drafted an arrest warrant. Rebecca opened the door in a bathrobe, her smartwatch still tracking her 5 a.m. run. "Rebecca Joynes, you're under arrest on suspicion of sexual activity with a child." Handcuffs clicked. Her neighbor, Mrs. Lee, 62, peeked through the chain gap, whispering, "Good Lord." Rebecca was held for 12 hours, interviewed. She admitted the Gucci belt but claimed, "We never slept together. He's lying." Her lawyer secured bail. The conditions were strict. No contact with students, no unsupervised time with minors. But the story doesn't end there, because while Rebecca awaited trial, she met Ben. He was 16. After her arrest, Rebecca was suspended from school. Her name didn't make headlines, not yet. The authorities held the details close. She was out on bail, waiting for her court date, instructed to stay away from students, from minors, from temptation. But temptations, as we know, don't vanish with the judge's order. It was raining when she met Ben. 16, smart, sharper than most, he was ambitious, had plans to be a physiotherapist. He had never met Rebecca at school. They had crossed paths at the fitness class in Salford. She was older, confident, pretty, and within 3 weeks, they were lovers. Ben said she was intense, like always texting, always wanting to talk. She said I made her feel alive. Said I reminded her she wasn't a monster. Rebecca told Ben about her arrest, but not the full story. She said she had been unfairly accused, that people twisted things, that she felt broken, alone. And Ben, just 16, thought he could fix her. But this wasn't just another inappropriate relationship. It was something darker. Ben said, she told me she couldn't have kids, Like, literally said she had something removed and it just wasn't possible. So when she stopped drinking, when she started talking about forever, Ben didn't question it. Not until that night. Ben came over for what she called a date night. There were rose petals scattered on the floor, a bottle of sparkling juice, candles flickering in teacups, and in the center of the bed, a white baby onesie printed with the words, "Best Dad Ever." Ben said, "I laughed at first, like I thought it was a joke. But then I saw her face. She was crying, smiling, crying again. She whispered, 'You're going to be such a good father.' He told her it couldn't be true. She told him he was wrong. He screamed. She begged. And then she said the words he would never forget. 'It's yours. And it was always going to be yours.' Ben told no one, not at first. But something inside him broke. He stopped sleeping, stopped eating, and in December 2023, he told the teacher. They called the police, again. And for the second time, Rebecca was arrested. This time with much more at stake.
Hello, you okay?
Hi, we're looking for Rebecca.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, we're out to Crime for a second.
Yep, okay.
I'm not sure how much you know what's going on, but my colleague's just got something that she needs to see.
Yeah.
So obviously, given what's happened, I know you've been sent home from school today. So you are under arrest at the moment on suspicion of sexual activity with a child. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention one question, something which you later rely in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence.
How's it gone so far since?
So the necessity for the arrest is obviously to protect the vulnerable and for prompt and effective investigation. So obviously you are under caution. You will be given obviously your chance to say everything at the station. But obviously for the time being you're under arrest. So
in February 2024, Rebecca gave birth. A girl, healthy, 7 pounds. Ben was not there. But within 24 hours of the birth, a family court judge issued an emergency order. The child was to be removed. Custody was granted to Ben and his family. Rebecca never held her daughter again. Ben said, "I loved her and I hated her, and now there's a part of her sleeping in the next room." May 2024, Manchester Crown Court. Rebecca is tried on 6 counts of sexual activity with a child. 2 of them carry the additional weight of abuse of trust. She cries on the stand, blames lockdown, depression, claims she never forced anything, that the boys loved her. The jury doesn't believe her. Ben's victim impact statement silences the room. "I was groomed, controlled, used, lied to, made into a parent before I could drive a car." The judge calls her behavior predatory, calculated, inexcusable. And finally, the gavel falls. 6.5 years in prison, a lifetime on the sex offender registry. But the sentence for some was never going to be enough. Because the damage, that doesn't get timed in years. Was Rebecca just one predator in the system, or was she a symptom of something much larger? What drives a seemingly successful adult to risk their career, their reputation, and their freedom for an illegal relationship with a teenager? It's a question even seasoned psychologists wrestle with. But in the case of Rebecca, there are patterns. Dangerous, recognizable patterns. Psychologists use the term female sex offender with teacher-lover typology. These offenders don't necessarily fit the image society imagines when they hear predator. They're often seen as nurturing, socially intelligent, and well integrated. But beneath that lies a cocktail of unmet emotional needs, distorted beliefs, and impaired boundaries. In Rebecca's case, several red flags stood out: emotional dependency and identity crisis. After COVID, she reportedly felt isolated, burned out, and invisible. For some, teaching is more than just a job. It becomes their entire identity. When that cracks, especially under social stressors, they may seek validation elsewhere. Narcissistic traits. The judge described her actions as breathtakingly arrogant. That fits the profile of someone who believes they're above consequence, that their affection or love for a teen justifies their behavior. Delusional romantic thinking. In both cases, she framed herself as the victim of love. She told one boy she fell for him and even described their bond as real. That suggests cognitive distortions, where the offender convinces herself this is mutual, consensual, even fated. Control through fantasy. The pregnancy reveal, rose petals, baby onesie wasn't just manipulation, it was an attempt to script reality into a fairy tale. But real life isn't a storybook, and a 16-year-old isn't a co-parent. That moment showed how detached Rebecca had become from moral and emotional reality. Experts often say male sex offenders are judged by their actions, but female sex offenders by their excuses. Society tends to minimize their danger until it's just too late. Rebecca wasn't just in love, she was in control. And for the boys she harmed, there's no snap to back. The damage lingers. Thank you for being with us for this episode of Crime Alley Documentaries. Until next time, be aware, be safe. Please leave any theories or comments you might have for us down below. We're really interested to know what you think about this case.